Now then, it's the 7th of December. It's a bit sharp today, but there's only a light breeze and it's not raining and there's a bit of blue sky. So this is the last firing of the season. I don't think I'll get round to doing another firing of the wood kiln, which is there, until late January probably. I'm still practicing on the wheel, so I'm still producing things, and when you make a nice thing you think, I don't want to just squash this up and then use the clay again, so you end up with lots of jugs and mugs and tumblers and stuff like that and what have you, and little lidded pots, but it's all practice. Anyway, we've got some glazed items that we're going to fire. They're biscuit fired in the wood kiln, and now they've been glazed with an earthenware glaze, transparent, and we're about to fire this up. Once it gets going, I will improve on the external insulation, because it's surprising how much heat these commercial kilns lose. They leak heat like it's going out of fashion. So I thought that the wood kiln was bad, but these are even worse. So we've got to work on that. I'll probably I'll put some fiberglass around it and maybe stack some of that thermalite block up against it as well. But let's just have a look inside. Here we are on wobbly cam. We've got a dragon there and a mug, 2 mugs, and a jug, and there's a lid somewhere. There it is, and I'm going to sit the lid on this little spider because it is glazed underneath. And these spiders, we got a bag of them with when we went and collected this redundant round kiln, this one here. You've probably seen the first video of this, but if not, I'll put a link somewhere near the end of the video. And of course, this whole thing is based on the information from Simon Leach, and I've given links to his channel before, and I'll do it again. So I'll just sort that lid out, and then I'm going to put another kiln shelf on the top here, just to protect the wares from anything that falls off the lid. And then we'll get it struck up. Right, I'll just do that. There's a bottle there, so I assume that will run out, but I want to weigh the amount of gas, because there are 2 litres of liquid gas, or LPG, sorry, to the kilo. So we've got that sorted. We've got a regulator on there that we can adjust. Where is it? There it is. And we've got the blowtorch down there, and I wanted to see how well this would do with just that blowtorch. If you remember, the other homemade gas kiln worked really well with this blowtorch, but of course we've got a bigger kiln, but I'm assuming we've got better insulation, and we've got a better chimney with a damper on it, so we can adjust that. Temperature at the moment on the pyrometer is 7 degrees centigrade. So I think we'll probably just wind that flame down a little bit on the regulator. We don't want the temperature to rise too quickly. So at 1 o'clock we're on 5 degrees. Okay. I've got the damper halfway and we're up to 13 degrees. I can't see. Oh, you can just. Yeah. That's better. Right, so as you see, the damper's slightly closed. A little gap in the chimney there. If we were worried, we'd bung a bit of clay on there, but I don't think I am. And I'm just going to leave this for half an hour and just see what happens. The flame is shooting straight into that hole. I suppose we ought to have a look at that. So it's just in line, but of course it's got not much power, so therefore it's probably just a bit far away. Perhaps we ought to bring that closer in. I shall just do that and then leave it to it. So there we go. I've moved that in closer. You don't want it too close because of the Venturi effect. Drawing more air in, so you want it to do that. So we're on, where are we? 157. We're rising at about 3 degrees C per minute. And okay, that burner's very loud. But we're on 479 and it is 20 minutes past 12, so we've been running for 3 hours and the damper is about half open. Can we see the flame? We can, yes. And the jet is about ½ an inch out of that aperture, that hole. And it's still rising, which is great, so we'll leave it for another half an hour. So it's 1:15 and we're at 585. And I'm just going to see if that rises at all whilst we're here. But just looking down at this gas bottle, I've obviously opened up the regulator, and where are we? Where's the gas bottle? Oh, there it is. And we're starting to get Joule's effect. So we're using it, and the top of the frost is the level of the liquid gas. The LPG, yeah, so it's about half full, and I will have a look at the scales, but it looks like we're on 23 kilos. So we're moving on, and it's gone up to, where are we? In that time it's gone up 1 degree, so I'm going to time that. And if we're not rising very much now, I'm going to put the bigger jet on. So 6:13, 6:14, 6:15, That's better. And where are we? We've got the bigger jet in place. Yeah, and it's 616. So we're getting a better rise in temperature now. That small blowtorch was great, but it was just petering out, as it were. So let's just get this going up. We need to get up to 1050. So we've got nearly, well, just over 400 degrees to go, and we're rising at maybe 1 degree every 10 seconds. So that's champion. Right, let's just carry on. There we go. 883, and the time is 2:15, and I put some blocks round the jet just to stop the side breeze, and that's running quite nicely. And so the temperature has risen dramatically, and the bottle is still frozen about 2/3 of the way up. And according to this set of scales there, we started with the weight being 25 kilos, and now it's showing 23. So we've used 2 kilos of gas to get from 5 degrees to 886 degrees. That to me sounds pretty amazing. I don't know whether I've got something wrong, but it seems to be about right. Let me just see, can we see a bit better? Let me zoom in. You're obviously at an angle, but take the weight off, put it back on. It's there, it's on 23 kilos. Wow, that's all I can say. And now we're on, where are we? 890, 891. Right, carrying on. Right, there we go, 1050. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to turn the regulator down on the gas bottle and just let it heat soak for about 10 minutes or so. But the bottle's still white, more than halfway up, and I think, according to this weighing scale, we've used 3 kilos of gas. Well, I think that's just absolutely amazing and something that needs to be checked again. So I'm just going to turn this down and just heat soak it for a few minutes, and I'll get back to you in the next couple of days when this is cooled down and I've got time to empty it. Hopefully you've found this interesting, because I certainly have. Right, it's a couple of days later, and I think this insulation did quite well. So that's a few bits of kiln shell that I put on the top. There we go. And this is some fiberglass insulation that has been on the other kiln and got very hot. I see that this vent hole in the top of this needs a bit more work, and it definitely got mighty warm, so squeak, squeak, squeak. There's the cone, and it just started to bend. Can we see that? There we go. And that's an 04 cone. So it just started to bend, but it was on top of that kiln shelf, that protective kiln shelf. So anyway, you saw the pyrometer reading, but I put that there just out of interest, really. So let's move the camera forward and let's have a look what's going on. So we've got a few bits of ceramic fibre. Give that shelf a bit of a wiggle. And there we go. Hopefully you can see this. No expectations. I'm quite pleased with that. And a jug in natural clay, and that is Friscony clay. Pretty good. Another no expectations. Except that says no expectation because I ran out of space. There's a lid there, and that was sat on that spider. I don't want to put that there because I might end up crushing it. So that lid is a bit weird, but that'll do. I think that was supposed to be white slip, but it's probably not thick enough. Are we seeing enough here? Probably. Now this is a weird one. We'll take this out. So that is the dragon. And I tell you what, it was really difficult to even think about how to decorate that. And there was a bit of yellow on the eye, but anyway, it's glazed, so it can then get fitted to a gable end somewhere outside. And that'll be grand. Right, we've got a few odd bits of broken tile that I was using as supports. I'll just get rid of those on top of this other kiln. And there's a few bits there. Right, let's lift this other bit of shelf out. Okay. Now, what's happened here? We've got another Et in Arcadia Ego, but there's a bit of staining there. I don't know what that's about, but it looks alright inside. And then a little beaker in, I'm not sure what that is. That might very well be Thetford. It's looking very orange. And another one I'm sure that's Thetford. Oh no, that's home clay. I could have done with making another coat of white slip on the inside of that. But there you go. And then this, which is home clay again, with the seagulls and a lid. And then we shall just make a little wooden top for that. I'm quite pleased with that. So there you go. That's the lot. I mean, it's not very much, but it's an experiment. So of the lot, I quite like that. And, well, I quite like all of these here, including the jug. No expectations. I'm going to have to think more about these dragons. I think it needs to be in a different coloured clay. Well, you'll just have to see. And I think we still have a temperature gradient in this kiln, because those ones were on the bottom, and look at the dark colour of those. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this kiln opening, and comment please. Yeah, always love the comments, and if you haven't already, please do all the YouTube business with subscribing and whatnot, and I will catch up with you very soon. Cheers for now.